we have this function tails. It's a recursive function, and it takes in as its input a list, and it returns as its output a list, right? And we can see we match this input x with two cases, so we know that our list data type has two cases, right? We know our list is either nil or it's cons of an int and a list. Those are at least the two cases we're matching. So this is a function that's given, right?
I can open my second part.
Wait, so you said it's either an int or a list? Like that's just type checking.
Yeah, so at least there could be more types to list, we just don't match on them. But I mean, because we can see like here it takes an input, here it's a nil. So
Oh, that's the cons.
Would you mind saying that to me?
yeah. Yep.
Thank you.
So basically, the first part of problem 3 asks you to give the rule corresponding to the nil case, right? So basically, what that's asking you to do is state, so a rule is an equality with the variable list. So we have to give an equality here and a list of variables that corresponds to the nil case, right? So so what we mean by an equality in the nil case is, we're saying if we get this as input, what's going to be our output? So here it kind of, in this nil case, the rule kind of answers itself, right? The rule, or at least the equality we'll have in the nil case is yeah, I'm just going through the practice midterm. I don't know if you want to do problem 4 or something.
Practice midterm.
Yeah, I'm on problem 3 of the practice midterm. I don't know how you want to do this.
Yeah, it might be easier if you just go over it.
Okay, yeah. So we can see that the equality in like the nil rule is basically just stating exactly what this function is doing, right? If we call tails on nil, it's going to give us cons of nil nil, right? And that's just literally exactly what the function tells us, nothing more. And now we have to have a list of variables that correspond to the rule. But do we use any variables here? No, right? So our variable list is just going to be the empty list. Because we don't have it in this nil case, there are no input variables, right? A nil is a nil.
So what an input variable be like? Like for the cons case, you have head and tail.
Yeah.
Those count as variables.
Yep, because H and T are variables that we pass in, right?
Would X be a variable, or is that just like an output
X is just,
on a list?
yep, so X is just,
It's just locally.
yep, so, yep.
Why do you put tail in front of you?
So the reason is nil is not necessarily equal to this, right? It's only this tails function called on this input nil equals cons of nil nil.
So why variable should be nil, right?
Nil isn't a variable, it's a type.
Oh, okay.
Yes, because let's say for example instead of nil we had empty list, just as an example. An empty list isn't like a variable name, right? It's just a concept that exists. So in the same vein here, nil is just like nil is just a form that this list type can take on. It's not a variable in itself. It's just a type that it can take on, right? But we'll see in the next part that H and T are variables here because those are kind of sub expressions sort of that go into this this type. So like cons wouldn't be a variable, but like what goes into cons, this H and T would be. Yeah. Yeah, I think this does have a small.